What's going on, Internet? Drills here, coming at you with another World of Warcraft video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the first boss in Mogu'Shan Vaults, the Stone Guard. The Stone Guard is a council-like encounter with a rotation of 3 dogs on 10 man and all 4 on 25 man. The dog not included in this video is the Amethyst, leaving 3 dogs of Jade, Jasper, and Cobalt. The main mechanic behind this encounter is that the dogs are trying to turn you to stone with the ability Petrification. The idea here is that you're getting 100 stacks of a debuff and then you turn to stone. This results in a raid wipe. To counteract this mechanic, however, you're going to overload the dogs. In order to overload the dogs, you need to get one of their energies to 100. However, the one dog that you need to get to full energy is the dog that is trying to turn you to stone. So right here we're getting Jade to full energy because Jade is trying to turn us to stone. To gain energy, you need to tank 2 dogs side by side. However, picture you're pouring water into 2 cups simultaneously. Okay? If they're both empty and you start pouring at the same time, then they're both going to fill up at the exact same time, right? You don't want to do this in this fight because then you're going to get 2 explosions simultaneously, which will most likely result in a raid wipe. So, in this case, how we did it, we pulled the boss. Jade was being tanked side by side at the start, so those 2 were getting to 50. When they got to 50, we switched. Ideally, what we should have done was I should have just taunted Jade over and continued the fight like that. So after the first explosion, then you're going to have 2 dogs at 50, give or take some energy, and then 1 dog basically at 0 because it just exploded. What you're going to do then is taunt the lower energy dog over to wherever it needs to be to explode the next dog. So that would either be your other tank taunting off you, the lower energy dog, or simply you staying where you are, tanking both dogs. That's the main idea behind that fight. It sounds kind of complicated, but this is definitely the fight that you need to do it in order to understand it. But just think, you're tanking 2, 1 just exploded, then your other tank taunts the lower energy dog. Don't taunt the higher energy one, because then you're going to get 2 explosions, and that's a no-no. Now on top of this being turned to stone and dogs exploding, which sounds terrible, each dog has their own individual ability. Since this is 10 man and there's only 3 dogs, we only had to deal with 3 abilities, but on 25 man you have to deal with all 4 abilities because you have all 4 dogs. Sounds simple enough. Now, the first ability we're going to talk about here is the Jade Mine. You can see a couple of them on the screen now. They're big crystals popping out of the ground with a dotted ring around them. These are quite simply a mine. If you stand on them, they explode, they deal damage. They also snare whoever is in that circle. So ideally, you don't want to be standing in them. However, they do build up in number while the fight goes on. So what you want to do is when Cobalt is being empowered, or you're overloading Cobalt because he's trying to turn you to stone, someone that can ignore snares, such as a priest with dispersion, someone with Hand of Freedom, hunters with deterrence, that sort of thing, run around and try to pop some of the mines so that you can clear up some space for you to move. Now you're going to want to explode some of these mines so that you can move with the Jasper Chains, the next ability coming from, you guessed it, the Jasper Dog. This ability simply just puts a chain between 2 members of your raid, and they take damage when they spread farther than 10 yards apart. So to counteract this ability, just stack up on top of each other. Ranged and healers, try to be nice to your melee and go to them. Don't make them come to you for, that would be a DPS loss for them. Big time, more than it would be a DPS loss for you to move towards them. So be nice to your melee. In a perfect world, melee will get paired and range will get paired. However, it's hardly ever going to happen, especially if you have 3 melee. Now the last ability in this video comes from the Jade Dog, and it's just a 30k AoE. Nothing to really avoid or try to deal with here. Healers, just make sure you're on top. You're not going to be wanting people to drop down to 30k anyway. Like, that's bad anyway. Now the last dog not included in this video is the Amethyst. The Amethyst drops Amethyst pools, and it's just a purple pool on the ground that will deal damage to you if you're standing in it. So once again, let's not stand in the thing. This fight is really oriented of don't stand in the thing and stay together. So make sure you're moving around. At one point in this video, I think we've passed it now, our monk and hunter were paired together. The monk rolled one way and the hunter disengaged the other. Don't do this. Make sure you're communicating to your partner where you're moving, or if your tanks are talking a lot, which they should be, watch your partner and go with them, or if they're waiting for you, you lead. Take the initiative and just go, or wait for them. Follow your partner. Don't be excited like them and go left and right. Like, bad. Now, tanks. One debuff that you're going to have to worry about, on top of making sure everything's going smoothly with the taunting and the energy gaining and exploding, blah blah blah, is this debuff called Rend Flesh. It is a bleed. It cannot be dispelled. It's a physical debuff. It is a bleed, ticking for 36k, damage every second for 15 seconds. I don't think I saw this debuff fall off at all. So what you're going to want to do is try to absorb as much damage as possible. Warriors using shield barrier, druids heal through it with your frenzy regen. I wouldn't be spending rage on dodge. Spend your rage on absorbs and heals. Anyway, good luck with this fight. Until next time, internet, be cool and game on.